Hey, this is Anthony from RevZilla, where you watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new REV'IT Discovery Outdry Boot, available at RevZilla.com. Four-season adventure. You might look at it and say it looks like four-season commuter. I'm about to tell you why that's incorrect. Now, while it doesn't have the bomb-proof hard parts you'd see on an Alpine Stars Toucan or you'd see at a seedy Adventure Rain level, that's the trade-off you're making here. It's not a Sherman tank. What you do have is one of the most technical, protective, full-height, true adventure boots that I've seen in a while. I consider it a stealth bomber versus a stealth fighter. And I say that because it's extremely well constructed, from the sole to the midsole, all the way up to the main construction and even the shin, but you almost don't see it coming. That's the beauty of it. It's very much a Batman-inspired take on adventure riding. I'm not calling it light dual sport. I'm calling it four-season adventure. So if we think about it within the REV'IT family, and remember, this is new for fall of 16. This is going to be the full height version of something like the Pioneer Outdry, and again, it's going to be the big technical brother of the Gravel, which comes in about $150 cheaper at around that $300 mark. Remember, this bad boy is going to be between the $400 and $500 range. Big investment, but it's going to be an heirloom product from a boot standpoint. They've really upped their game. In the earlier days, in the time before time, in the last 5 years, we saw the REV'IT Apache. The REV'IT Apache was beautiful, it was aggressive, it was the predecessor of this boot, but it was nowhere near as technical. This really ups the game from REV'IT. Now, when we think about it, let's talk briefly about some of the materials that make it that full-on adventure. You're going to see full CE rating with great protection at toe, ankle, and shin, using SEEFLEX from REV'IT. It's their CE2 material, again, baked in, especially with the shin hard part. Also, instead of those big cumbersome cam lock buckles that we see, you're getting the BOA system all the way up. Monofilament stainless steel that allows easy entry and exit for this boot. Much easier than we typically expect for a full adventure boot. Notice I'm ratcheting it down. My joke here is Back to the Future 2, Marty McFly. Super simple, super fast, and it's going to be covered so you're going to keep mud and grime out of it. The other thing, in my opinion, that makes it true adventure, Outdry. Outdry is a bonded, waterproof, breathable membrane that allows it to be bonded to the full-grain leather and sueded outer shell. Does not allow any water to your foot or any water to wick into the boot itself. Sometimes Gore-Tex is a booty design and allows the outer shell to take on water. The other thing is going to be the sole. 8 out of 10 on the stiff scale. Really, really aggressive. There's 8 parts to this sole. I'm going to break them all down for you. But all in, when I first looked at it, I said, oh, it's lightweight, dual sport, and adventure. It's going to be a great beefed up boot for your long-range touring rider. And REV'IT yelled at me and they said, no, it is not. It is an adventure boot, and we're going to tell you why. And then we listened, we learned, we went out and put it through its paces. We agree. Hardcore adventure without the Sherman tank effect of some of those big torsional control external hard parts and TPUs. If you want that, there's plenty of boots for that. This is going to be that stealth bomber. Now, let's talk about fitment. Full height, ease of entry and exit, mild arch support. It's European in its sizing, but it's not European in its fit. REV'IT's been doing boots for the US market for a really long time, so no surprises there. Look at the width of the footbed. You're not going to have any issues. It's not overly narrow. Use the size chart. We'll ship for free over 39 bucks. And remember, as I get into the rest of this boot, click our logo, subscribe to us at RevZilla, leave me your comments or questions, your feedback on the REV'IT Discovery as I work through the product. Now, let's start with the heel, or let's work with the sole rather, and work our way back. And wait till you hear how much went into this. The first thing about this sole is it's 8 out of 10 on the stiff scale. I told you that. Look at the bottom of the sole. 3 materials. Middle's going to be replaceable. The sole is going to be replaceable. It's a Vibram Apex. Let's start in the middle and work our way back. It is going to have a PU shank here. And you do notice this material is for durability with your foot peg and stiffness. This is where your foot typically is going to interface with your bike. Lightly raised heel to keep everything in place. Now we work to our big heavy-duty tread designs. These are going to be your non-slip areas. These are when you're walking around or you're off their bike. This is for grip. Then you look at your tip and your tail here. Look at this material where my finger is here and here. Durometer changes. It becomes harder and stiffer, a little bit more stable. This is if you're going to be hot shoeing it. So if you're going to put your foot down, if you're dragging your foot in any scenario, you're going to get different stability and tactile feedback knowing that you're more in an adventure riding scenario. And again, they did that on purpose. Look at the front here. Nice big toe counter that comes up, tying in with this front area of durometer. And then the back here, you're going to have this break off cleanly right there. You see that area. Now, if I turn it on its side, let's talk about 2 more materials. Notice there is going to be along the back here a angular piece. You can see that angle right there. That angle is the difference between the rubberized portion at the bottom and your midsole. Your midsole actually is a different durometer hardness for shock absorbing. Then that's going to run the full length. Then you have your light gray area, which again is another shock absorbing layer. That's going to be your sole. 3 parts plus a shank. Now we move up to the inner sole, or up above the midsole. First thing you're gonna notice in the back here with this heel counter is this is a TPU hard part area that spreads the load and interfaces. This black raised area actually goes under your heel. And on the inside of that would be the comfort lining. The entire inside of this boot is silver ion, antimicrobial, antibacterial, but also you have that comfort lining that sits for your foot to sit on top of. So there's 8 to 9 different components just in the sole of this boot. Super, super technical. Vibram Apex, again, third-party manufacturer, and you can replace it. When we get into the boot itself, suede, full grain leather, great breathability, this rubberized layer that goes on the lateral side over the top of the toe. This is where your shift pattern will interface. Notice it's not a big dually stitched TPU. It's actually a bonded rubberized material that works its way all the way back before you hit full grain leather again. Love that they're doing that. That's an upgrade. That bonded material, that fused construction is new school boot design. We move to the inside. Notice big malleolus protector, CE rated, foam backed on the inside, super comfortable. Again, part of the SEEFLEX line from REV'IT. Moving up. Shin is going to be sueded, heat shield, a little bit of area for grip if you're against your tank. Again, no surprises there. And if we move back around to the front, remember, you have your foam at the top here, so depending on how you're working, it's not going to create a pressure point or chafe area against your leg, but you have that great hard part from REV'IT on the front of the shin. That is the big upgrade over something like the Pioneer. Again, shins are prone to foot pegs, chopping them, and breaking your leg. And from my standpoint, I love having that full height design. Notice on the side here, you do have an area of expansion, and we move it onto the front. Again, we've done it a couple times. I'll do it one more time. BOA system opens and closes. People have been asking me to review how easy on and easy off these boots are. These boots are pretty easy on and easy off. Considering it's full height, it's this protective. It's not 17 buckles. It is the BOA system, which you can do with one hand, like so. Strap down, I'm in, I'm out. So especially if you're commuting or doing lots of riding where your boots come on and off, depending on how you're set up and what your day looks like, that is going to be a big upgrade on this boot compared to some of the other boots on the market. Now, lateral side, big area for protection. On the ankle, it is raised. I would expect it to be raised. And then notice the back side of this as well. The back side of the boot up from the full grain leather, replaceable or a reflective pop there, and you have a nice big pull. I'll also say this, if we look at the profile, notice that it has that scallop or that contour there. A lot of boots just come up like a stovepipe. New school boots with a more contemporary look will have that scallop feature. Again, it's just a nice to have. It looks really cool. It's ergonomic. The boot was very comfortable. And again, you're getting that true 4-season adventure protection without the spaceship attached to it with all that TPU. That's really going to come in. Remember, the baby brother is a Pioneer. If you want to step down and keep the same height in price, you're looking at something like the Gravel within the new school boot line from REV'IT. You can tell I'm a big fan. They did a great job. You're $400 to $500 for this boot, but it's a hell of a step forward in boot technology, and we're happy to see them use new school components like the BOA and the Vibram sole to bring in super technology when they don't want to go reinvent the wheel. The next step in your journey is to click the info button, your desktop, your mobile device. Visit the product detail page at RevZilla.com. Read other rider reviews. You don't have to take my word for it. As always, we'll ship for free at $39. If you want to talk to a gear geek, see us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown of the new REV'IT Discovery Outdry Boot. Remember, subscribe to us at RevZilla on our YouTube channel. Stay up to date with our opinion on the latest and greatest in the moto universe. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.